Well, thank you both for being here, and congratulations on the film. As you can tell from that applause, that's not an applause that money can buy. So it's very clear that everybody really loved it as much as I think we all did when we saw it. I'm so fascinated by the kind of stories the making of the film, just in terms of the fact that between you kind of joining the project, Gus, and us seeing it now a number of months later, it's been a very kind of quick turnaround, I think, from you reading the script to actually the first screening in Venice a few months ago. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved, and obviously about the shoot itself, because the shoot was such a short shoot as well?
Yeah, so it was in September of last year. So a lot of things hadn't happened, like Care.
So it was a happy time.
President. It was a happier time, and there's a Soho club, so I said yes.
And then literally, I mean, this is September 24. By January 25 this year, you were shooting, and then and 19 days later, you had a film pretty much before editing.
Yeah, and even soon after that, we had a film that we showed, which was quite a bit like this.
So Gus didn't join the project till September, Bill, and it was shot in January. At what point did you become involved? Can you remember at what point you first read the script?
It might have been October, because I remember speaking to, first of all...
So yet again before Trump and Luigi.
Yeah.
Yet again before.
The halcyon golden age. Right?
Yeah. It wasn't all that great back then either. but and I don't know, like if Gus Van Sant wants you in a movie, you take it very seriously, obviously. And I did, and then we spoke on the phone, and I remember, I'm like, okay, well, like, the script's great, the character's fantastic, but I also, because Austin put these links into it, so, you read the script and ask, and then you kind of pausing, and then you're like, oh, who's this guy? And then you start to watch a documentary, and you start, seeing the real thing, and I just, I don't look anything like the real guy,
we saw at the end what he looks like in real life.
Yeah. He's like a foot shorter than me, and maybe only about 10 years older, but in 1977, so 30 years older. And I remember talking about that. I was like, I don't know what if I fit into this if I can do this guy. He doesn't. And Gus didn't seem concerned about that at all. So I think you saw something in it that I could, my way into it was very distracted by the real thing and the real occurrence. And then we were talking, and then, and then Gus is like, yeah, no, I just read the script a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, but you want to shoot it in a month? It was scheduled to start shooting in December. So it's I don't know, it's been a very it's been the fastest production I've ever been a part of. I've never done a movie in 19 days, but it's in a way the spirit of Tony.
Yeah, that's true.
Is sort of represented in the process of the filmmaking.
I think that's one of the things I think is interesting, isn't it? The fact it was made in 19 days, I guess, means there's going to be a sense of urgency about the way that you make a film. We were just talking about the speed of the movie.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah, I think one day I did 17 pages in one day.
Wow, that's right. I remember that.
I'm like, oh, it's 17 pages, because all of the interiors, all of Tony's apartment was 4 days of shooting, and it's so much.
Yeah.
Thankfully we shot in in sort of a makeshift studio, but you can get through it if the way we shot the film. And was this very unusual for how you normally shoot, or
no? Because the project that I made just before,
as an actor, I can see you're processing this. And as an actor, I guess there's probably not room for more than sort of 2 or 3 takes.
Yeah, yes and no, because we never waited around ever. So there was never a waiting around for setups. Sometimes you're waiting around forever for setups. And sometimes if it's poorly planned, I can look at a call sheet and I go well, here's this scene that's scheduled the last thing of the day is really heavy, and you know, they get bogged down on like a big, wide, beautiful scenic shot that takes 5 hours to do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so then you have to rush it in performance. So like there's always this kind of give and take in filmmaking. But with this one, it was kind of all performance, really. It was just handheld cameras and then, you know, just go, go, go. And I was very concerned about it going into it. I was very worried, like if I had the character right, you know, if I could do it, like if I could perform in a very kind of loose, like a lot of it is there was a lot of improv as well, and kind of, and before you going into a shoot, you don't know what the shoot's going to bring out of you, you know, it's part of the charm of acting, I think, is like that you can prep something, but it only comes alive when you shoot it, you know, you know, you, me, and Dacre got along really well, and I think Dacre and I are very high energy, quite opinionated.
Yeah, we had rehearsals beforehand, like for 2 days.
And we just never stopped talking.
Yeah, and I think...
Yeah, and long, like, I mean,
the whole scene, yeah.
The whole scene, like the scene, which was one of the, definitely the first week, one of the first days, we shot we shot a lot of most of it chronologically, actually. But the opening of me tying the shotgun around, you know, Richard's neck, and we're like, okay, and I was like, can we, because it was so much, it was probably 10 pages of a lot of it, most of it verbatim of what Tony said. So the lines are like you can't write those lines, you know, it came out of the real Tony's sort of manic mind, and it's verbatim, you know. So I was like trying to, and then there's no, just like Gus said, for the reason he wanted to do the movie, of the voice recording, like he's not responding, like there's no like the guy on the phone, like he's just talking over the guy on the phone, he's yelling to someone here, like, so there's it's just a 10-minute rant, and I was very like concerned about trying to like find the emotional arc of it, and so like, can we divide it in, and then we ended up just like shooting the whole thing in sequence, like it must have been a 12-minute take every time.
And we did that probably a few times.
Yeah, a couple of times, and then we're like, okay, and like, and then that's, I think for me at least, that set off the sort of the shoot. Really, it's like, okay, well, Tony is very activated, so roll the cameras and we'll see what comes of it.
I think it's interesting, Gus, that you didn't realise quite how funny the film was until you saw it with an audience the first time.
Yeah, because you never really can. I mean, when we shot it, and I was like, oh, it's funny.
So I guess the whole sense of that situation, that kind of the chaos that he's.
Well, I mean, I thought there was something funny about Tony. Like I thought it's funny about him, you know. And it's a very serious thing, but he's bizarre and kind of funny, but I didn't have the intention. Like it was just like he was like. I remember even like the first day is the scene of me walking into the Meridian Mortgage, and I'm carrying the thing, and it just became funny immediately. Like he's like dropping the thing.
Yeah,
it was just like, it just sort of like, okay, there's something funny about the character.
That was funny.
And then I don't know. So it's situational. It's just like he's you know, kind of funny.
When you go into the office and I go, you know, that's the first little gag.
Yeah. Well, that was also all improvised,
Improv,
because it just kind of came.
Yeah, the idea that she used to work downstairs. That was invented.
Yeah. You're not supposed to be here. It was like,
and as much as it's set in the 70s, it also has a kind of feel of the 70s about it, doesn't it? It kind of trying to recreate, or did you revisit those films when you were looking at this?
I think Arnaud, our DP, was using an Alan Pakula film, Clute, in his own like styling as well.
And you've got this incredible performance by Al Pacino in the film.
Yeah, it was just one day shoot, and it was he was sort of for sale, but he was great.
It's Al Pacino. You can't
Yeah.
say fairer than that, though, can you?
Exactly.
And I wonder whether, I mean, both of you really, when you're making something that is kind of, based on real events, or do you just have to not allow yourself to be affected by that? Either of you. Josh?
Yeah, I've done so many things. I think every film I've made is based on something that came.
Did you, I mean, I guess there wasn't a lot of time to prepare for the role anyway, but did you have an opportunity to do some research before actually getting your teeth into the role, or was it something you had to go
plenty,
into?
yeah, plenty. And then I was wrestling much more with that, because I was like, of portraying him, and
Because I guess the other thing about him is that to some people he's a villain, to other people he's a kind of folk hero almost.
yeah. I mean, and I think that's just like the actual thing that happened. You had people having different opinions about him, and the movie is, I think a good movie doesn't write it out for you. So whatever you feel, talk about it and kind of make up your own mind. I mean, for me, he's very human. So like he's very human and flawed. Obviously, he's very upset, understandably, perhaps. But it's someone that has, been beat up his entire life, and the thing is just a pressure cooker, and then sometimes they explode, But I don't think he's an evil man at all, And it's something that's quite endearing. I find a lot of things sort of endearing, in him and performing him, but he kind of he sort of apologizes all the time, so he could go like, he's so upset, and he's like, I'm really sorry, and you're so upset. So he's kind of in front of your eyes wrestling with this kind of his own conscience about like he's not a bad man, but he's just so goddamn upset,
And he may have been like that his whole life.
Probably, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, but he's also, I mean, he's a victim of his own, of his circumstances, and there's, so there's the real guy, and there was a lot of information about him and his background and his upbringing and stuff that is, when you do the performance, it's great, to use it and flesh out the character with the truth in a way.
And it feels like a lot about this sort of shoot was sort of serendipitous in a way, and that it did all come together.
Yeah, Coleman was also sort of somebody that later was cast and had time to come in. As I was working on it, I kind of based him on a DJ that I used to listen to in New York. Thing on the Air is based on this guy, Roscoe is his name. In this case, I think find myself getting back involved with like, oh, maybe we can do this over here. So I would correct him, make it feel a little more documentary than maybe it would have. Well, yeah, I think no matter what you're making and no matter how much time you have.
And Bill, in terms of that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I'm thinking, I mean, it's, we had a lot of conversations about sort of if we would diagnose him. There was even, I think, an article about like there was a psychiatrist that made a whole analysis on him, the male menopause thing, which was hilarious. Do you remember that?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like, oh, the men in mid-40s go through sort of a male menopause,
yeah.
Which is like can cause manic episodes and stuff. I don't know. It was like we had a lot of kind of conversations about his mental state and so from the research process is kind of analysis, deep analysis and just sort of and then once you're getting closer into doing it, you're embodying it, and then you're not supposed to be self-aware of the stuff that you analyze of a character. So then it sort of comes, you know, and a lot of thought. I had a lot of thoughts of things that I thought, like, okay, here is stuff that makes him dynamic, and you know, he's very much in an agitated state. I mean, it is. He doesn't sleep throughout the whole thing, right? So it's like a full-on manic episode. Yeah. You know, when you're in that kind of a state, you're also very close to, like, we talked a little bit, it's like the big emotional shifts. Like he can like almost cry at one point, and then completely switch into like full on rage, and then apologize, and then be funny. So there's so many, emotions that are kind of like a pinball machine, of just like ding 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 ding, and that was a lot of fun to do. You know, it's a very active role, you know, an active character, and there's so much, you know. But yeah, when you do it, I'm not supposed to be too conscious of it, and kind of let it come through me, and then you know, as an audience member, you can kind of analyze it if you want. You know.
Yeah, we well, Arnaud, the DP, had gotten in touch with a company that, so it was augmenting that as well.
It's in here. No, well, yeah, it was funny because I was like, I hadn't worked for a while, and I was like, kind of just watching movies, and I was like watching all of these like 70s films. I was watching a film I hadn't seen before. It was Mikey and Nicky. I think we talked about, yeah. Alan May movie, which is amazing. Peter Falk and John Cassavetes, and the whole movie is sort of like just one night of these two guys, two friends, and one hit, you know, a mob hit is on one of the guys, and the whole movie is sort of just improv and very sort of 70s and Cassavetes style. And then I was like, oh man, that's what I want to do. And then a week later, this thing came out.
Oh, you'd already seen that film? Oh,
yeah, I'd just seen
right.
it. And I was just like, you know, I was like, oh, that's something, like, I would just love to do something like that. So I felt very serendipitous when it came, this thing. And then, you know, Gus is such an amazing filmmaker that it was like, even the consideration was so flattering. And for me, it was just, like, my hookup was, like, I was like, if this script is in a vacuum, I was like, yeah, great. Like, I have all the freedom to do this, to perform this however I want. But the fact that it was a real story and there was a real guy, I had hesitations about that, you know. And like, I don't know if like there's the real guy, and then, you know, you weren't as concerned about it, I don't think I ever was like, I don't want to do it. Like, I was always so attached. It was more I was conflicted by it, and then I said yes, and like, and part of it was also just talking to Gus, you know, and I was like, okay, well, the guy is completely, you know, manic and just, you know, such force and so chaotic in his energy. But Gus is so chill. So I'm like, I think I can go there, and then just like have him as my Zen Buddhist teacher to just like kind of anchor me to not go too far. And that's kind of, it actually turned out to be true.
It obviously worked, and I'm just going to say, you know, I think it's an amazing film. Thank you for sharing with us tonight. A big thank you to Roque and to DDA for today, but a huge thank you to Bill and Gus for being here. Thank you.